political ideology. We've got all these Muslim Zionists out there. They're just like Jews.
Wait a minute.
The Zionist
what do you mean
Jews.
Muslim Zionists?
There are Jews. There's an element within the Jewish community that takes Judaism as a political ideology. And that's the only goal in Judaism for them, is to bring about a Jewish state called Israel. Right? It's not a religious, they don't have religious goals like Herzl and these people. They were purely political animals. You find within the Muslim communities, you find people that Islam has become a vehicle to power, to government power.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the point I'm making. I'm saying that Islam, as it exists now, has become a tool for social and political control.
Absolutely, which is horrible.
And therefore we are not able to evolve.
Yeah, because the whole point of Islam is, the word means submission. You're giving up control.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. People don't realize the Prophet ﷺ he was so far from a dictator. He was so far from a tyrant. He as far as you can go on this earth, he was that. When he was once planning a battle, a man said to him, is this opinion, Ya Rasulullah, or is it revelation? He said, no, it's opinion. Yes. He said, well, then we should do this. And he said, that's a better opinion. What ruler now in the Muslim world would listen to an advisor like that? And this is why this is why the war was lost in Germany, because his best generals were unable to disagree with him because he was such a tyrant. And this is the stupidity of tyranny. Aristotle says tyrants by nature surround themselves with yes men. They can't be around people that will challenge their ideas and thoughts. And there's an intellectual tyranny in the Muslim world now. I mean, Muslims have become not just, because they've incorporated tyranny as a model. And so mosques become tyrannical centers where you have these petty little despots. They're despots. And they control the mosque with their iron hand. Anybody that disagrees with them, and they have the yes men around them. Some of them don't even say yes, they just nod.
That's correct. As we are looking at the challenges that we are facing for the 21st century from the Muslim perspective, we have so far almost given up as far as any effort that we see on the horizon in the Muslim world to get us up to snuff with those challenges. Am I correct?
Well, I'd have to agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah. And so we are here now. And
we're here.
And now, from my perspective, which you may disagree, I feel that we are here where there is freedom and there is knowledge, the two essential sort of compelling reasons for being a Muslim.
Right.
And sort of.
Well, we need to, first of all,
what do we do is
we need to define terms.
Okay.
If we define what is freedom, in the English language we say freedom from and freedom to.
Yes.
Freedom to do what I want, freedom from this or that. Now
we have both here.
I don't agree. See, because from an Islamic perspective, there's two types of people. There's a free man and a slave. And a free man is somebody who transcends his bestial nature and is able to take moral control of his character. And as long as human beings are unable to do that, they're in abject servitude to themselves. And I would say America is one of the most extraordinary slave societies that has ever existed, because you have a society of people that their lives are dictated by their passions, self-indulgence. People in this country have no discipline with food anymore. There was a time in this country when you ate 3 meals a day. Now people snack all day long. And then their children are overweight. People have to get their stomachs stapled so that is that freedom?
I think Isaiah Berlin had.
Is that freedom, though? Would you call those people free people?
No, I mean freedom in the sense
political freedom?
In the sense of being able to exercise your own rights. But here we have a little difference. Here the rights are exercised without the responsibilities attached to the rights.
Well, we have a Bill of Rights, but we don't have a Bill of Responsibilities. And I think that's a big flaw in the Constitution.
Well, I think the Charter of Liberty that the Constitution or Bill of Rights is, it really lays out a general plan, obviously.
Yeah, and most of it's in accordance with Islam. I don't have a problem. The majority of the Constitution I have no problem with.
Right.
Really. And the Bill of Rights, I think, it's the best the intellect can do.
Right. So that's what it is in America. It's the best that can do.
But do you think the Constitution is being applied in the United States of America right now? Do you think the Fourth Amendment is being applied?
Is being lived in the Muslim world?
Well, I don't think anybody in the Muslim world, as far as I know, is claiming that it does.
Well, no.
Whereas I would say...
I disagree.
No.
I think I will show you headlines from papers where claims...
There is no country on this planet. There might be crackpots, individuals, but as a people, there is no Muslim people that I know of that would say, we live in a land where the laws of Islam are being applied. Even the majority of the laws of Islam. In fact, a Moroccan scholar told me once, I asked him about Buddhism, and he said that he felt Buddha was probably a prophet. And he said, and I'll tell you something else. If the Moroccans applied Buddha's teaching today, they would be closer to Islam than what they're on right now. Okay. That's what he told me. So I don't think anybody in the Muslim world claims. Yet Americans, by and large, believe that the Constitution is being applied in this country. And yet 30 million people's phones are being tapped. And that's something that is not conspiracy theory. That is in their own major publications. They admit to that fact.
See, the trap here.
People are being monitored. Every time you buy something with your credit card, there's a database in Oklahoma that's doing a psychological buy-up on you to see what kind of person you are.
Yes.
And then to determine what type of things we're going to send you in the mail so we can pinpoint. Yes. So you'll start getting things because you read a lot of intellectual books. So you'll get Levenger will send you things because you're an intellectual person, so you can have nice pens and things like that. I mean, is that freedom? Do you think you're free if you're... The only free place I've ever been to in my life is the Sahara Desert. The only free people I've ever met are the Bedouin in Mauritania. And that's the God's honest truth. I'm not exaggerating. And you can go there and see for yourself. They're free people. They can go where they want. If they don't pay the bills, their tent's not going to be taken away from them.
Well, you see, you're taking...
In this country, if you don't pay your taxes, they'll take your house from you.
Let us be fair. You are taking an extreme position in this because if you...
I don't think it's extreme. I think everything out there is so extreme that a moderate position sounds very extreme.
If you look at the so-called perfect solutions to the woes of humanity or the evolutionary process, you will always find that eventually they all have a failure point or they all have a shortcoming. I mean, this is a sociological phenomenon.
Well, I think implementation. I mean, Islam, I would say Islam, the Quran says quite clearly that Islam is kamil, it's perfect. And I believe that. But human application of Islam will always be flawed by human nature.
Yeah, but
there's no doubt. Because human nature has certain elements in it. We're triune creatures. Our brains are designed in a way that we have mechanisms operating in us that oftentimes are actually to our detriment. Fight or flight syndrome is a problem. Because you can start dealing with people very aggressively, and there's no need to. But your physiology has taken over, and it's overridden your own rational component.
So that's what is happening here.
Where?
Right? In America. The physiology, you're driven by desire, you're driven by...
Well, I think desires are created.
You're saying that the freedom...
I think desires are created, and that's why I don't believe the people here are free. I feel sorry for people out there. When I go out there and look, those people driving on those freeways every day in Los Angeles, those people are free to go where you want. You can't even get off the freeway if you wanted to. Is that freedom? I mean, it used to be if you were on a road, you could turn around, do 180 degree. I would say that was freedom.
No, but then that would be anarchy.
That's not anarchy. That's the way America used to be. No. I grew up in a time when, and I'm not that old, but I grew up in a time in the Bay Area when you could get off the freeway. There wasn't gridlock for 2 or 3 hours every day.
I mean, the people
look at. systematic and
organization
orderly. I mean, what are we,
of,
ants?
of our culture, of our behavior.
Do you know, are we going to operate like the ant hill, where everybody just does, well, this is what they want, and the
if you-
queen